Hello, time for another vlog. I'm going to talk about success and failure and enlightenment and all that, basically. I've done the usual thing of making a load of notes, which I'll refer to. See, the thing is, especially I suppose in the modern Western world, our culture makes a big thing out of success, so-called. We're taught as we grow up that we can be a success and we should be a success, whatever that may mean. I mean, thinking back, I think as a kid I tended to take it to extremes. I expect a lot of people do. So I would be thinking about being a great hero, or a great scientist, a great actor, or even a great musician, CEO of some major company. You know, these days it would be somebody like Elon Musk or somebody like that, Steve Jobs, you know. Maybe you want to be like the ultimate stand-up comic, a George Carlin of this world or something like that. Although he probably didn't think of himself as a great success or failure, because I suspect he didn't think in those terms by the time he made the videos we've seen on YouTube. Maybe you just want to be a newsreader, or one of the famous newsreaders, or a great writer, you know, J.K. Rowling and, you know, Tolkien, somebody like that. But what happens to a lot of people, of course, is they get told, you'll never be a great whatever. Get a job like normal people, right? And a lot of people just give up. Some people who really know what they want firmly go for it and disregard all the naysayers, including parents and so on. And that sometimes they can get there despite the opposition. Sometimes not. It doesn't matter, is what I'm going to say in this video. Okay. But most people revert back to that fallback position. They try to get a good job, or a good career, or at least a job, right? And they end up being a good slave, basically, and not that happy with their position. Because I think we all know that it's better to try and fail than not to try. But most of us, in fact, have never really tried, gone out there and really gone for it. And there's this hidden sense of failure in our culture which nobody talks about, because obviously nearly everybody's a failure in these terms. You know, I'm not the Prime Minister, I'm not the President. Why do we take it on board in the first place? Because when we're infants, our parents know everything, as far as we know, our guardians, whoever they may be, the people looking after us. We instinctively believe they know what is going on. Of course they don't. They're typically young adults who don't know much about anything. Often they think they do, and later they discover they didn't. But as infants, we take on board what they say, and we also have this instinct to survive, so we make a serious effort to fit in with expectations as infants and children. And this becomes practically second nature to us. We want to be accepted in the group, the family, whatever, the tribe. We want to be loved. And of course, as we grow up, we realise we also need security. Like, these days that means money. So, while some people are able to go for it and really have a sensational life, and a smaller proportion of those are actually happy about it, quite a lot are not happy, as you can see from the news stories about them. But most people are perhaps secretly a bit discontented with their lot. I mean, let's look at my position. I've got a job, so I'm getting a wage. It's reasonably secure. I mean, I've developed over the years skills that are marketable in IT. So as long as I don't, leave my job under a serious cloud of some sort, I can get another one probably. Especially living in London, where it seems like half the jobs in Europe are. I don't know. But anyway. What I'm not doing is travelling the world and sightseeing very much. I don't have a huge amount of savings that I can fall back on. I have some, but not a lot. I don't have a huge luxury home or several homes in wonderful locations with fabulous views and nice climates. Here I am in London town. I was hoping to try out my new GoPro camera this weekend, but we've got a storm brewing and it's blown over the Atlantic, so I guess it was a hurricane or something over in the east coast of America at some point a week or so ago. So it's cloudy, it's very windy, and I can't do the audio basically. I could go out with the camera, but the sound would be awful. So maybe next week. So I'm doing a bit of sightseeing, but I'm doing it where I live. And London is a great city. But it would be nice to see a load more, obviously, and actually spend my life travelling. And I see people on YouTube who do seem to do that. And I think, how do they do that? They have to give up a lot. That's how. And unless I'm prepared to do that, it's not going to happen. So I think most people are in a similar dilemma of one sort or another, tailored to their particular circumstances and desires. So, what's to be done? Well, the answer from enlightenment is nothing. Nothing is to be done. You don't do anything about it. The point is to accept what is. And accepting what is means ultimately learning not to care about trivial stuff. And your life is trivial stuff, believe it or not. And all those things that your mind makes up, or that you've been taught, that you're supposed to try and achieve and be, which are not what you naturally are, it's nonsense, actually. So what you do is you dismiss it. You say, when you'll find yourself worrying about oh, I could be this, I could do that, should I do this, should I do that? To heck with it, right? Just throw it out. Do what you want. Don't worry about what the boss will think, or what your parents will think, or what your friends will think, or what God will think. None of that. You've been made, if you like, as you are. So when you're stressing yourself out over what to do, chuck it. Throw it out. Just say, the heck with it, who cares? And either do or don't do. Or do and fail. Or do the wrong thing, and if you get it wrong, you'll get it right next time. As Jerry Rafferty said back in the 1980s in a song. You could do it as John C Parkin says. Can you see that? I'm not going to say it because YouTube will get scared. But that's the idea, right? It's the way of the Tao. It's things are as they are. Accept them. So you can't be Angelina Jolie or whatever, right? Or U2 or somebody, right? But you can be the greatest dustman of your town, right? Collecting the garbage. I'm talking rubbish. And accept your lot. This may sound defeatist, right? Why should I accept being a wage slave and just do that? I want to be more. I want to achieve fame and fortune and stuff. Why accept it? You see, the paradoxical thing is that when you let your mind off the job, when you just say, oh, the hell with these thoughts, you're actually free to act. And as I say, do or do not, as Yoda would say. Right. And you don't have to worry about it. You either do it or you don't do it, and it's okay either way. It's like the way things are in the human world is caused by humans and the way the world is physically. And when you're concerned about the way it is, just think, this is what humans do. There's a video. A woman, I'll put a link to it. It's also in my liked videos on my YouTube channel. She adopted an orphan beaver, and at least for a while it was living in her home. And this beaver would sort of trundle about the home, grabbing any loose articles and dragging them about, and building dams with them in the house. It would build a dam out of shoes and rubbish and saucepans and stuff. And this was fine, this is okay, isn't it? She was happy with that. It's a little bit annoying, perhaps, but this is what beavers do. They build dams. It was also chewing up the doors and the skirting boards and anything made of wood, basically. Expensive damage, but, you know, it's a beaver, so... okay. How amusing. It's fun. Watch the video, perhaps you'll see what I mean. And we humans, what do? We organise stuff. We build cities. Especially if we're Brits. We have careers. We do jobs. We organise stuff with money. This is just what humans do. It doesn't matter. You might say, well, I want it to be different. In that case, dismiss it. When your mind is off the job, your verbal conscious mind, when you're not stressing yourself out about being a failure or a success or whatever, you are suddenly free just to be. And when an opportunity comes, you won't have to fret about it. And if you do start fretting, you can dismiss it. The heck with it. Who cares? And just do it. Or not. And that's the end of stress of an unhealthy sort. When you're confused about which option to choose sometimes, if you really analyse it, you'll see that much of this confusion comes ultimately from social pressures. It probably derives back from your childhood. Will I be making a bad impression? Will I lose my reputation? What will so-and-so think of this? That's the ultimate feeling behind a lot of confusion and doubt about action. Dismiss. Just to heck with it. And suddenly, you're free. If you do it, fine. If you don't do it, fine. If you keep going to your job, that's fine. If something turns up, fine. If it doesn't, fine. It's what humans do. It's what I do. Just keep on. It's only defeatist in a conceptual way. The verbal mind will see it as giving up, but as I've explained, when the verbal mind is not worrying away at it, you're actually free. There's nothing stopping you at that point. That doesn't mean you will suddenly quit your job, go for broke, end up bankrupt and living under a bridge. I mean, if that's what you want to do, fine. But it doesn't mean that, because you've got some sense, you know you need some money, the job is there. You might just hang around and see if life hands you an opportunity which you might not have seen with your worried mind, but which can turn up when you're free. And you can just turn on a dime, as it were, or a hairpin, and whoosh, off you go when the opportunity hits. Or if it doesn't, so what? You're having a contented time. You're actually happy because you don't worry yourself. Whenever some worries appear, chuck them out. Okay, thoughts? Does that make sense? Bye for now.